Hello dear students. Today in this session I'm going to tell you about sustainable development. This is a topic which is there in class 10 employability skills section and unit 5 green skills. So in this video I'm going to cover what is sustainable development, importance of sustainable development, problems related to sustainable development. The questions that you'll be able to answer at the end of the session are: describe the term sustainable development, problems related to sustainable development, describe the importance of sustainable development. So without any delay, let's start with the topic. If you like the video, please do subscribe and share. So dear students, this is the gist of the chapter green skills that is there in employability skills section of class 10. You can see that the various aspects of environment, the sustainable development, its problems, promotion, importance, the goals, the gist is given over here. So we will study each and every topic in detail. Now the first question that comes to our mind is, why are we learning about sustainable development? See, environment basically is all around us. All our activities affect the environment and all the activities of environment affect us. According to the traditional Indian belief, right, what our ancestors used to believe, our ancestors used to worship the sun, the Ganges, the banyan, etc. Now technology has advanced. That time it was not that advanced, but still our forefathers knew the importance of the 5 elements: Prithvi, that is earth, Agni, fire, Jal, water, Vayu, air, Akash and space. They understood what it means to live without any of these elements. And this is the reason they used to consider nature as supreme and worship these elements. But what have we done? The human race has progressed, we have neglected the vitality of these elements in our lives. Just to pursue or to fulfill our unending wants, the greed that we have started exploiting the nature. It has resulted into what we see today, that is scarcity. There is scarcity of clean water to drink, there is scarcity of pure air to breathe, scarcity of unadulterated food, rising issue of global warming, depletion of ozone layer. The list just goes on. It's never ending. So everyone in the world today is talking about the measures to curb these rising problems. There are world summits being organized to find a solution to these global problems. But the solution to these problems is only one, and that is sustainability. So we need to understand over here the first thing, that how I, as a citizen of this earth, can contribute in the sustainable development or help in the sustainable development program. So first, let's quickly have a look at what exactly is sustainability. If the answer to the questions is sustainability, so sustainability is basically the development that satisfies the needs of the present without compromising the capacity of future generations, guaranteeing the balance between economic growth, care for the environment and social well-being. It means that whatever needs we have due to the economic growth that are arising, whatever needs we have at the present, we can satisfy that without compromising the capacity for future generations. That means leaving the natural resources which we are using for future generations as well, and striking a balance between the economic growth between the care for environment and also taking our social well-being into consideration. Due to the economic growth, what has happened exactly? That people's needs are increasing. The production of products, the material is increasing day by day. It is increasing at the cost of natural resources. Too much increase in the use of natural resources is happening. So due to that, what is happening is the natural resources are depleting. Now these natural resources, they are limited. Once they deplete, they will not be available to the future generation. So to basically to strike a balance between the economic growth, the environmental care and our own social well-being, we need to take care of this particular concept, that is sustainability. Now how I as a person or you as a person can do that? See, if I ask you a very simple question, that how can we contribute in the sustainable development? We as human beings, we can use these natural resources judiciously. How? If at all you are sitting at home, you are using electricity, if you consider using only one source of electricity, that is one tube light, rather than using multiple bulbs over there, multiple tube lights over there, or using the AC, using the fans judiciously, not wasting them, or taking a walk to a nearby place, if you can perform these tasks, you will be contributing at a larger scale in the sustainable development. Now, other than these tasks, the scientific methods that can help in conserving these resources is like reusing the wastewater, segregating waste after reverse osmosis, conserving rainwater, and again the list is endless over here as well. So how do we define sustainable development? Sustainable development, the development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, right? That is sustainable development. As I said, how as a person can we contribute towards sustainable development? We can do that by reducing excessive use of resources. Just like I said, limited use of electricity, limited use of water. Whatever is important to use, not to waste it, and enhance resource conservation. Recycle and reuse of waste materials. Scientific management of renewable resources, especially bioresources. Reuse of rainwater comes in this. To plant more trees, by planting more trees, by planting or growing green grassy patches interspersed between concrete buildings, using more environment friendly material or biodegradable material, and the use of technology which is environment friendly based on efficient use of resources. So this was all about how as a person, as a human being, I can contribute to the well-being of the environment. Now let's have a quick look at what are the problems that are encountered by people or by communities or by nations at large to implement the sustainable development. See, a large population in major parts of the world, it is living an underprivileged life. So if we try to tell them to use these resources in a limited way, they are already underprivileged. So they already have limited access to these resources. Then comes poverty. That is, as it is, since these people are underprivileged, they remain unemployed. If we start teaching them all these methods, of sustainable development, they would rather consider this as very inhumanitarian. So what we need to do is, for them, the only, way of earning is whatever job they can get. They will never be able to discriminate or distinguish between sustainable or, exhaustive use of resources. They will never be able to distinguish or demarcate between that. So whatever source of earning they get, they do go for that source of earning. Next is, with the existing issues of climate change, number of species have become extinct and many are on the verge of their extinction. Under such circumstances, striking a balance in the food chain is a big responsibility. The market all over the world is trying to capture as many resources as possible to maximize their profit. In pursuing of maximizing the profit, they overuse and exploit the resource. So this greed, it is difficult to tap this greed. Even when we talk about nations in the nuclear race, every developing country is trying its hand to become developed nation. So ensuring world peace is a global challenge. Then comes, creating awareness, the lack of awareness and sensitivity. While the challenge remains that many are simply leaving loose ends in the execution of policies. So sustainable development, there is a huge world population which is simply insensitive towards its need. Whether we talk about underprivileged population, whether we talk about unemployed population, whether we talk about the greed or the lack of awareness, the loose ends in the execution of policies. So these are the problems that are generally encountered when we talk about implementing the sustainable development goals. Now, sustainable development, basically, it focuses on, long-term approach, that too an integrated one. It has to include, a healthy social and economically viable society. We cannot think that we are going to lower down the economic level and we will implement sustainable development. No, we cannot do that. The aim basically is to inculcate the value of self-resistance here. So we as individuals need to understand that we need to save natural resources, we need to utilize judiciously the resources available to us to ensure that it is available for future generations as well. The 4 R's and the 1 U, which helps in sustainable development, we'll be describing that now. These 4 R's are refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and upcycle. So what is exactly refuse? To create a sustainable environment, we must first refuse to use products that harm the environment. For example, plastic. The next step is to reduce, that means minimize the use of the products that may cause harm to the environment. If you cannot refuse to use that, if you cannot do away with that, then you can use it judiciously. Next is try and reuse the products as far as possible in order to reduce the waste generation. For example, reusing of rainwater, reusing of waste material, biodegradable material. Now, once we have crossed these 3 steps, refusing, reducing, reusing, we can also recycle certain products. So try and recycle products, without compromising on its quality. This will definitely help in conserving a lot of natural resources. And the last one, the most important one, which we all can take into consideration, is the upcycling. The U here stands for the upcycling. So upcycling basically is, to renovate the product, to change the product, which is unusable at present, to give it a new look with the help of machines, or we can also do it manually. So the old product looks a little more desirable. This process is called upcycling, and it is a very smart way of conserving the natural resources, or the conserving the renewable sources or non-renewable sources. Now let's take up this particular topic. What is the importance of sustainable development? See, the importance we have described already in our previous slides, but judicious use of resources is of prime importance, since exploitation of resources is causing its depletion. These resources are getting scarce day by day. Now, what kind of resources are we talking about? Basically, it's water, the air is being polluted. The other resources like, the mountains, due to the soil erosion, these mountains are also disappearing. So all these resources, they will not be available for the next generation. If we keep exploiting them, without considering their renewability. So here what we need to understand is we need to ensure that the air is clean, the water is clean, it is available for future generation. The economic growth is not compromised. It doesn't lead to economic disparity. The environmental problems like climate change, emission of greenhouses, all these are alarming at present. So to combat these environmental problems, we need to adopt a very, very well-planned strategy, that is sustainable development in our day-to-day life and at our workplace also. Now, as I said earlier also, sustainable development focuses on long-term integrated approach to develop a healthy, social and economically viable society. How can we promote such sustainable development? By bringing harmony in nature through good governance, creating healthy economic and social viable society. We can do that by inculcating the value of self-resistance, by saving natural resources, by efficient use of science and technology, and by providing equality among human beings. How the world, the countries in the world are trying to deal with this problem? See, there are 17 sustainable development goals which have been designed to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. These were set up in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly, and they are intended to be achieved by the year 2030. So these 17 goals, children, are zero hunger, good health and well-being, no poverty. It caters to quality education, to provide clean water and sanitation, clean energy, taking climate action, responsible consumption and production, reduced inequalities, industry innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, provide gender equality, decent work and economic growth, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, life below water, and it also caters to partnership for goals. So this was all about, the sustainable development. Let's have a quick look at what all we have done. We have covered the definition of sustainable development, the importance of sustainable development, and the problems related to sustainable development. Now that's all in today's class. Thank you so much. If you like it, please do subscribe and